Urgent. Growing rumors of a final solution for the traditional Latin Mass. You can almost picture them sitting there with the hairless cat petting it. We must implement the final solution. Like, I can name 1,000 things, but you're focused on the TLM that a tiny sliver go to? You don't have to be Columbo, for crying out loud, or Sherlock Holmes to come to some conclusions, right? Like, clearly there is a contingent at the Vatican and in powerful places around the earth. I don't actually believe Pope Francis cares all that much about liturgy at all. Yeah. Novus Ordo or otherwise. Team players, that's the bottom line. That's the moral to the story there. Go along, be on the team.
By the way, my name is Joe McLean. I host a radio program called A Catholic Take, where we look at the world through a Catholic lens. I'd love for you to hang out with us. If you like it, give it a thumbs up and let us know what you think in the comments below.
All right, so let's talk about this rumor out of Rorate Caeli. Urgent. Growing rumors of a final solution for the traditional Latin Mass. It says, dear readers, we'll link to it in the show notes, by the way. It says, dear readers, once again, as at least twice in the past, before the crackdown on the Franciscans of the Immaculate, and in the 12 months leading up to the Traditionis Custodes, Rorate Caeli is sad to be the first bearer of grave, heavy, and persistent rumors coming from the circles close to Cardinal Roche and to the liturgical warriors close to Casa Santa Marta in Rome. An attempt is being made to implement as soon as possible a Vatican document with a stringent, radical, and final solution banning the traditional Latin Mass. The same ideologues who imposed Traditionis Custodes and its implementation, who are still frustrated with its apparently slow results, especially in the United States and France, want to ban it and shut it down everywhere and immediately. They want to do it while Francis is still in power. They want to make it as wide, final, and irreversible as possible. These rumors come from the most credible sources in different continents, and we urge you to take them as seriously as possible and do what you can in your station as laity, priests, bishops, cardinals, religious, men and women, to prevent the ban from becoming a concrete measure. We can stop it from happening. Can we stop it from happening? Yes, we can. I just got a Bob the Builder vibe there. Yes, we can. Can we do it? Yes, we can. By prayer, sacrifice, and penance, and influence and pressure of whatever sort we can manage to put forward. The enemy is strong, but our Lord and Our Lady are mightier. When we have further information that can be made public, we will let you know. Note, what we can say is that these rumors come from the very same sources that revealed to Rorate that the Vatican had sent out a survey to bishops on Summorum Pontificum in preparation for what would become Traditionis Custodes. And Rorate was the first source to post this, and the very same sources who first revealed that a document like Traditionis Custodes would come, and Rorate was also the first to reveal it at the same time. With the addition of other credible sources who have now mentioned the same present rumors and whom Rorate was not acquainted with at the time of Traditionis Custodes, and who now corroborate the persistent rumors. And that is the entirety of the article over at Rorate Caeli. Let us know what you think. Do you think that they will try? Do you think that they will get it done? Do you think that they will be successful? Or will they not get it through? That's the question. I'd like to know what you think. Let me know in your comments. So this is not a new rumor. This has also been around. Traditionis Custodes did some damage, but it didn't do as much as they had wanted. So they've got to continue to push for the abrogation of the traditional Latin Mass, which they've been up to going back to the 60s, obviously, and probably before that. But I put out a poll yesterday on my community tab of the YouTube channel asking the question, do you think the rumors are true? Will they implement the final solution for the traditional Latin Mass? 56% say yes. 14% say not sure. No, forgive me. 14% say no. 29% say not sure. And 1% are sworn to secrecy over the matter. Mm-hmm. Doesn't it make you want to know who that is? I want to know who that is. It's sworn to secrecy. Jake, what say you? Do you think they will implement the final solution to get rid of the traditional Latin Mass?
I'm inclined to say no, even if I'm sure many figures want it. I think no, it will not be implemented.
No, it will not.
No, it will not be implemented.
But you think they will try?
Well, I think probably Roche and a few of his fellow Roches definitely want it to happen. The last time he went in to get more restrictions from Pope Francis, he kind of just gave them a rescript and said, okay, run along. I think he's over it. I think Pope Francis has moved on to other things that he cares about. He's fickle that way, and he's not really interested. He already put a letter out, fully endorsing the FSSP, all that sort of thing. I think he doesn't actually care that much about the legalities of that stuff anymore. I think he's moved on. He had his little, he kind of had a brief obsession with it, and had there were reports that he had a bit of a tantrum about it, so to speak. But I think now he's moved on. He just does that. I mean, we can see how he keeps flipping on the Frociagine issue. I think he doesn't care enough to want to enforce a total ban and deal with that headache, especially considering the headache TC was.
Yeah.
I think even though there are definitely ideologues in the church who hate the TLM and want it to be banned forever, that won't actually get enforced. Certainly not under this pontificate, and I think the next pontificate will be too moderate to want to enforce it either. That's my...
You can almost picture them sitting there with the hairless cat petting it. We must implement the final solution to do away with these rad trads. Like that guy it's such an evil, idea in the mind of all the problems on planet Earth that need to be dealt with today. This is your priority? Like what? Like, those crazy Catholics that just want more lace and smells and bells and ad orientem. Good grief. Like, oh my heavens. You're killing me. Right.
Trad.
I mean, I think, who was it? I think it was Kennedy Hall. Might have been Kennedy Hall yesterday. Yeah, I think it was Kennedy Hall making the point in his commentary on this about, like, in the 1960s, when they were trying to come out with the Novus Ordo, Bugnini, the Freemason, leading the charge there. At that time, you had a world full of Catholics that were going to the traditional Latin Mass. Now, you have a super small sliver of Catholics on the planet who go to the traditional Latin Mass. It's a growing cause, and there's still, that's a good number. Our parish is full to the brim, but it's not like it was in the 60s, and to his point. So and to my point is, it's a sliver of the whole pie, and you're focused on this? Like, that doesn't even pass the smell test. Do you see what I'm saying? Like, in other words, if your focus is on this and not on other things that seemingly, like on paper anyway, would seem to be bigger issues that are more present, that you need to get after, then that suggests that there is a real agenda here. There's a real agenda. That even a Novus Ordo Catholic should be like, hold on, red flag, this is an issue. What is really going on here? If you're a Novus Ordo Catholic and you don't go to traditional Latin Mass, you ought to be asking yourself this question right now. Like, why? Why are you going after this tiny sliver of a group of people? Like, listen, there are the abortion issue, the IVF issue, the marriage issue in our country and around the world, the unruly, unlawful, illegal immigration pressure of the world elites is a big issue. The enslavement of the Uyghur slaves to make your solar panels and your lithium ion batteries and your whatevers should be a major issue. The mining in Africa with horrible living conditions and growing disease and everything else in these communities, so that we in the West can have all of our fancy renewable energies as we fly our private jets around planet Earth. Like, these should be bigger issues, but they're not, let alone the proclamation of the gospel message to planet Earth to tell them they need to convert before it's too late. Like, I can name 1,000 things, but you're focused on the TLM that a tiny sliver go to? That suggests agenda, and even Novus Ordo Catholics should see that and go, no, I'm not on that team because I'm not up for that agenda. Sorry, but no. Thank you, but no. But we live in bizarro world, so here we are.
The one thing I'll say about Rorate Caeli is they kind of have been they kind of put out rumors like this and rumors about Traditionis Custodes. They kind of just do that every year.
Yeah.
And then when it happens, they say, "See, we were right." That's Rorate has some decent reporting here and there on stuff, but I have absolutely zero doubt that, again, like Roche and other liturgical ideologues hate the TLM and want it to go away.
Exactly.
I have no doubt about that.
Exactly.
The issue is there any chance of this actually getting presented to the Pope as a big document and them getting what they want? And I think the odds are extremely against that. I think it's not an area
I don't think you have to be.
Yeah.
You don't have to be Columbo, for crying out loud, or Sherlock Holmes to come to some conclusions, right? Like, clearly there is a contingent at the Vatican and in powerful places around the earth who do not like the traditional community, traditional Catholics, traditional piety, traditional liturgy. Clearly, they want to get rid of it, and they would put as much influence as they can upon the pontificate to do what they want done. I think you don't have to really be a genius to come to that conclusion. Certainly, these people are talking, and rumors are flying as a result to their conversations. So Rorate, gets that. They their sources are telling them, oh yeah, so and so is doing this and saying that. Okay, fair enough. Does that mean it'll happen? No, not necessarily. And something you said a little bit ago, Jake, I kind of agree with. Only kind of, though. I got to be careful about how I say that publicly. I don't want anybody to think that I actually agree with you. You know what I'm saying? That'd be
dangerous thing to do.
Dangerous grounds here. No, I'm teasing. But my opinion is similar in that I don't actually believe Pope Francis cares all that much about liturgy at all.
Yeah.
Novus Ordo or otherwise. I think he cares about his getting the thumb on things, right? Like, take the argument of what's going down in India, right? It's bizarre. The Pope is trying to force these priests to be ad orientem.
Yeah.
Explain that one to me, Lucy. Like, you got some splaining to do. Like, I don't understand. It don't make no sense to me. Like, why? So his issue is not ad orientem or versus populum. His issue is I want you all on the same team and be team players. Team players. That's the bottom line. That's the moral to the story there, is he wants them to be team players. He wants us to be team players. He wants you to be a team player. Go along. Be on the team. Mm-hmm. So whether or not it's ad orientem or versus populum, I don't think he cares. I personally don't think he cares. Pick a side and go with it, and that's what he wants everybody to do. Thanks, Bugnini, says Becky. I like that. That's great. Should we put that on the mug? Thanks, Bugnini. Don't make me. You're tempting me,
Joe,
Becky.
The sky's the limit. We can have as many mugs as we want. I'm not saying it'll lead to anyone buying them, but we can have as many mugs as we want.
I think we should do that. Thanks, Bugnini. That'd be so hilarious. Only us would get it. It'd be so funny. But anyway, yeah, I'm not convinced because I don't think, as far as I know, please correct me. If I'm wrong, I want to be corrected on this for sure. But I don't think Pope Francis actually celebrates Mass anymore. Does he?
They say he does it privately.
Okay.
That's all they say.
Oh, at least there's that. But I don't think he celebrates any more public Masses. And then there's this, remember that story when he interrupted Cardinal Mueller in the middle of a Mass? It's like, what does that say? Well, who does that? Who interrupts a Mass and tells the priest to come take a phone call in the middle of Mass? If I were Cardinal Mueller, I wouldn't have done it. I would have continued to say the Mass and then taken the phone call after. But it was a power play, it seems. Seems like it was a power play. So my guess is Pope Francis, that's not his pet project, but he's happy to reward his constituency with their pet project. Right? But Pope Francis, as Dr. Anthony Stein pointed out on his YouTube channel just this morning, Return to Tradition, Dr. Stein reminded us that there's rumors right now that Pope Francis is about to approve a new bishop for the SSPX from within the SSPX ranks. Let that sink in.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if they're true. I couldn't say one way or the other, but we're talking about rumors, right? So there's another rumor. So it seems like, my guess is Pope Francis is not as sold out for this cause as just those people underneath him who are. It's their pet project, not his.
Like you say, Joe, it's about unity, right? It's about we're
Right.
all on the same thing. And as long as the SSPX is acknowledging that he's the Pope and is playing ball with him to whatever degree he is happy with, that's all he cares about. Sure, you can have another bishop. Who cares? Whatever. I'll give a bishop to the Coptic Christians. I'll give a bishop to the Orthodox. I'll give a bishop to whoever wants it. Because as long as you're on the team,
and you get
as
a
long
bishop,
as you're
and
on,
you get a bishop.
as long as you're on the Francis team,
That's
we're
right.
all
Because
synodally walking
otherwise-
together.
Yeah, the other side is true too. I'm going to take your bishop, and I'm going to take your bishop, and I'm going to take your bishop too. So it's both and, right? It's Peronist, as Lori might say. Yeah. Patricia, good morning to you. James, good morning to you. Thanks for being on the team today. Final solution doesn't sound like unity. I totally agree. It doesn't, does it? Final solution. I don't know whose words those are, though. The words final solution in this article are in quotes. I'm not sure who came up with that. Is it just kind of like we want to be tongue-in-cheek and get a good, nice clickbaity title to get you to open it? Or are those words coming from the people who are saying, hey, we want to do away with the TLM? I actually don't know. If you guys know, let me know. But obviously it's meant to evoke the Nazi death camps, right? The final solution.
It sounds more like Rorate Caeli, like
Mick coming up with
that. I think they came up with that as
for a clickbaity title.
Clickbaity title, exactly.
Clickbaity titles.
I mean,
man,
Joe,
if we should have a whole show.
If we were
of
putting
clickbaity
out
titles.
a video of you reading that article, wouldn't we
Final solution
call
would
it
be on my
the
agenda.
final solution to the TLM? Question mark?
That's right.
Question mark.
Oh man, I would go for it 100%. Here, hold my beer. Watch this. You don't like clickbaity titles? Here, hold my beer. Watch this. Oh, bro, I am. Let's go with the clickbaity titles, because otherwise, you don't get clicks, and no clicks mean no watch and no conversation. So, here's to you, Rorate Caeli, coming up with your clickbaity titles guy.
Game recognized game.
Game recognizes game. All right, well, let's pray that there is no final solution, but rather let us pray for a reconquista of the liturgy to something holy, sacred, intentional, beautiful, devout, traditional, and connected to the greatest saints in the history of Holy Mother Church. I want to go to the Mass they went to.
Did you like that video? It's okay. You can admit it. It's perfectly fine. Hey, we cover the big stories of our day, from inside the church to outside the church to all points in between, and we do it from a Catholic perspective. It's called A Catholic Take. It's a radio program Monday through Friday. We live stream it right here on this channel, by the way, so make sure to subscribe, like, and share. We would be very grateful to you. And don't forget, you're going to want to watch this video right here because you don't want to miss anything.